Hi folks, I'm Will Bridges with 123 Trade, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to run trading automations in the Forex and how to turn on a robot to trade for you while you're asleep at night or at school or picking up your kids from school or at the beach or at work or whatever it is that you do when you're not in front of your computer, which, last few years seems to be like, I don't know. That amount of time has changed for me. I don't know about you guys. We need more outdoor time. But that's what this sort of thing is for. So I want to show you guys how to make the market work for you a little bit more and have a robot work for you at the same time. If you guys are interested in more information like this, we do have a lot on our website. We also promote Build a Bot. There's a way to build your own robots even if you don't code. So people that, if you have this idea in your head that you can't stop thinking about, like, the flux capacitor, and you're going to, create time travel. If you only knew how to code, you don't have to do that anymore. You can check out Build-A-Bot on our website. But I'm going to show how to turn on some out-of-the-box trading systems that I think are some of the more popular ones in this video. So if you do want to see more content like this, then the easiest way to support us is to press the thumbs up button. You won't. You will. I believe in you. But otherwise, subscribe, ring the bell. There's going to be lots of time-sensitive information on this channel. This is one you'll probably be able to watch a few times, okay, because there's going to be a lot of information in here, and you are going to want to pay attention to everything that I show, because if you want to know why things randomly shut off or why they stop working or why it didn't have my stop loss or that type of stuff, I'm going to solve that here today and help you guys figure out how to more effectively run this stuff. Okay, so that said, everything here will be for educational purpose only. You do have to risk it to get the biscuit, folks. There's no such thing as a guaranteed trade or investment. So, base covered, let's move on. Let's get to the cool part. I'm going to pull up the charts. I've got a few systems here I want to show how to run these all top to bottom in this video here. Okay, this is the Perfect Storm system, RightTrader Max, GridTrader Pro, three of the most popular systems that market traders and SmartTrader have ever released. And you can get subscriptions, you can buy these, whatever. If you fund a trading account through us, you may be able to try them out for free. And actually, depending on how much you fund with, you may actually be able to get it completely for free. So, all that said, that's the end of my sales pitch. Let's go ahead and get open a new workspace. I don't want to close these out. I'm going to let these run. Okay, I just want to show all these systems are wildly different. I have them all set on the Euro USD. And, you may want to run one system on multiple currency pairs or on one currency pair on multiple time frames. There's a lot of ways to do things, but I want to kind of give you guys an overview of a best practice. So let's get to a new workspace, and we're going to say autos. You can kind of put whatever you want, up to you. Might as well go ahead and do this Euro USD as an example, everybody's favorite. And they are also putting a pretty nice signal out for us. But let's go to our 1 month chart first. Okay, I'm just going to add that. And I'm going to pull this out to all time. Okay, and what I like to do first, I want to get all of the data into the chart, because if I know that I'm planning on running an automation, I want to make sure that the indicators that I'm using that go into this automation have all of the data loaded into the cache. So I want the immediate memory of my browser to have all of the time frames. So I'm just going to work my way down and zoom all the way out on every time frame so that all of my indicators have the information that they need to make proper decisions. Okay, so I'm just going to come to all these time frames and I'm just going to work my way down. And you don't have to do this, every time that you turn these on. Personally, if I know I've already done it on this chart, I don't worry about it as much. But it's kind of up to you guys. I like to be careful too. And I just kind of do it on every chart until I get to the one that I actually want to trade from. Okay, and I want to trade from the 1 hour with our system. But for the time being, I want to show you guys this all time frame. Because what I also like to do, every system's going to have a lot of indicators involved. Usually they're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 indicators to make a decision. There are hundreds out there. If I pull up the indicators box here, there's a lot of them. These are all indicators. A lot of them are popular. I could sit here and name them for days, but why? There's a list here. Okay, so there's a lot of indicators and different mixes of them that people use to make decisions to enter or exit the market. So a lot of these have already been made out of the box. Some of the more popular ones that our clients already have, that I know a lot of people have questions about, and that's why I'm making this video, so that we can make sure people know how to run this stuff. Okay, so I like to bias the direction, because the indicators that are built into the system that we came out with, last year, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, yesterday, whatever, they're designed for a specific market condition. Okay, so what I mean by that is it's going to be looking for a trend or a sideways market. Could be a less aggressive trend that it's looking for, maybe a more aggressive trend. It kind of depends on what the system is built to do. And really, your job as a trader is to wind up systems and put them in places where they can be successful. It's just like being a manager. Okay, that's why they call people that use this type of stuff money managers. You're also just going to be a robot manager in this case. Okay, so I want to know the long-term trend. Looks like up to me, because I've got up on the top, up on the bottom. Looks like an uptrend, pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and get some counter trends so I can get a better feel. This second one here, I want to make sure that I show this, okay, because we do have a nice trend line break with some support on the other side of it, okay? This thing's broken many times, okay? So we had support on the other, we had lots of sideways movement after we broke it there, okay? We had some support happen, that broke, it fell. Same thing there, okay? And then this has become our most recent broken trend. But I don't necessarily think that this has to stay for a lot of reasons. Because one thing that a robot can't look at is typically the last 10 years. Okay, at least if you're going to run it. And what I'm looking at for the last 10, actually 11 years, okay, this is what this thing does. Okay, up or down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This one here, maybe I'll use a box. This is sideways. This sideways trend, pretty trendy. That went for 3 years. Okay, that's a pretty serious trend. And then after that, we've had very few trend changes also. So I want to just look for ways that I can trade with the trend using my robot once I'm ready and I know I have the conditions that I want. So to me, what it looks like is that we may be on our way to our next, move like this, something like that. Okay? And reality is I think that it may be where our supply and demand actually collide is where this thing might be headed. And that's actually pretty close to that spot that I just made there, but let's go ahead and make this a little cleaner. This is really the area that I'm looking to get to. Okay, so if I think the market's going to get all the way down there, but it might take some time, I could enter it now as a seller, put a stop loss above, put my limit down there at the bottom at that price, all the way down around 110. That'd be a hell of a slam and sell. And if it makes it there in a year, I'll be real excited about that. But that being said, I may want to take some profit on this thing tomorrow, or the next week, or the week after, or every day. So what I want this thing to do is to go down to our 1 hour time frame. I'm going to run my robot. I want my robot to sit here and just look for places to buy, take profit. Look for places to really hear is just look for places to sell, take profit, sell, take profit, sell, take profit. That's what I want this thing to do until it gets to 110. That's what I want, 110. As soon as we get there, then I'm going to have it stop doing that. I may have it go the other direction. I may have it go sideways for a while and use a different system. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because there's a lot of systems out there that are popular. Personally, I think like the one that I think I get the most questions about, the one that I think most people have, is probably this perfect storm system. So I'll show that one first, just to give you guys more cues as to why I want to sell here. Okay, this is why I'm looking for sells. Okay, I've got a broken trend line here. This is really primed while I'm looking at it. Okay, so a lot of people are looking at this like, oh my gosh, why are you wasting your time putting on a robot? You could just put a trade right here. There's our stop. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I could really get a 2-to-1 just by staying in this range, just like that. Boom, done. Trade figured out. See ya. Okay, but then I'm gonna have to figure out where to get in later, follow this thing, do a bunch of work that I don't have to do. I'm gonna click this button that looks like a notepad. It's called Smartcripts. Okay, so if I click on it, okay, and I pull up, search whatever systems that I own. Now, there's a lot of them down here that you can purchase. This Build-A-Bot is really neat. Okay, so if you want to build your own bot, and you can watch, there's 3 videos on how to set it up and how it works and all that stuff. You can learn how to use it before you buy it. It's not expensive. That is on 123trade.com's recommended trading products page, just because you can kind of make your own strategy, which I think is really cool. So if you know how your indicator-based strategy works already, and you just want to automate it, boomtown, there it goes. That's what you need. So otherwise, for what we're doing now, perfect storm. And there are multiple perfect storms. So if I think this thing is going to be a strong trend downward, then I might use the trend storm. If I think it's going to be a little bit more gradual than that, or maybe more sideways, I might use the range active storm. Regardless, up to you. Okay, so could go sideways. I think I just want it to look for sells, and maybe every time it goes sideways, I want it to enter. And I want it to get out relatively early. So I want to treat it like a sideways range, even though I think it's going down. So I'm going to be aggressive on how quickly I take profit, but I still am only going to look for sells once we get there. And you can have the system trade both directions. So if it finds a buy opportunity, it'll buy. If it finds a sell, it'll close your buys and open up a sell. So you can have it do it that way. But personally, I like to bias, because I have eyeballs and I read the news and my system doesn't. Okay, so up to you guys. Either way, a lot of people get fairly good results, but you're going to get better results if you can influence your own success a little bit better by understanding how things work and trading with the trend. It's your friend, remember? And it's the trend until it's not, or until it bends. I don't know which one of those phrases that you guys like the most, but a lot of them out there. So lot type, this is important. Fixed or risk percent. Fixed means that every trade is going to be the same size. All of them be the same size, one standard lot every time, or one micro lot every time, or 0.24 lots every time, whatever you set it for. Risk percent, this means it'll be a percentage of your account. So if you're really bad at math and you want to risk 1% of your account to be careful, then this thing will do the math for you. It will open a lot size based on the size of your account. So if you want to figure out how this stuff works, you can always run it on the demo to practice and figure out how it works before you run it in your live account, which is what I recommend anyways on all of these tools. No matter what it is, you need to know how it works and get a feel for how often it's going to trade. The higher the time frame that you run this on, the less trades it will place. The lower the time frame, the more trades it will place. So I don't typically go under 1 hour, and this system might place a trade every day, 2 days, maybe a couple times in a day. It kind of depends on what happens. But this thing has a tendency to get pretty aggressive. Max positions down here, you want to pay attention to this also. Okay, so it'll add on more positions, and the positions it's going to add on are going to be bigger, 2% actually instead of 1%. So maybe I only want max positions to be 2. Now I'm only going to risk 3% of my account on the Euro USD with this robot and the trades that it opens. Okay, which is much more comfortable to me. So I'm going to leave that at one time, I should say. So it'll risk 3% at one time. So that way I can come back, check this a reasonable distance apart, like tomorrow. And, if things went terribly, maybe I lost, 1.5%, 2%, 3% of my account. Boo-hoo. Not a big deal. So, at least not for me, when it comes down to 1% of my account. Level in, okay, so this is, if you wanted to add more positions, you can say by daily trading range percentage or break in pips. So that's up to you. Daily trading range percentage, so if it goes the entire daily trading range, which on this pair might be something like 100, then I want it to enter again, okay? Or I could just do it on a break, 10 pips. So if it hits a nice little jump, then I want to get in. Net pips, this is a really cool feature. This is a place for me to exit. So if it goes up 150 pips on all of the active trades that I've got open, then it's going to close them all and take the money and run at 150 pips. And I'm personally pretty cool with that. You may lower this even a little bit on something like the Euro USD, because if it only moves 60, 70 pips, I've got 2 trades open, I can still close out in one day. And that's something you can tweak. The faster moving pairs, you may want to raise that or leave it at 150. But again, something I would recommend, run it in a demo account for a couple of days and see how it works. You don't want to ever learn how to use something with live money. Well, at least not in totality. You're going to learn how to use it with live money for the rest of your life, because you're going to figure out how your emotions get affected by your decisions that you make. Because my decisions all hold a certain amount of value in my brain, because I think I'm right. And then if I'm not, I'm already upset that I was wrong. And then there's the money factor of what did I lose. So you need to accept losing before it happens, because it will happen. but my robot's going to look for sells for me. It's going to manage my risk. It's going to do most of the hard work. I'm going to ride on the shoulders of Chris Pulver and Gary Fickard, a couple of guys with about 35, 40 years of trading experience between the two of them, and they build algorithmic trading systems for a living. So I'm pretty happy to let this thing rip and roar on its own. If it's actually already entered me into this position, I think actually this is my other set of charts has already entered me with the RightTrader Max. So let's go ahead and move on to the RightTrader Max. I'll show you guys that one. That one's already entered. So let's get another chart open here. Let's get the Euro USD again. That way we don't have to do more new analysis, and I can show you guys more. RightTrader Max. And I'm going to do the same thing with this new chart that I did on the last one. I'm going to zoom out. Also on this system that I opened here before, if I change the time frame, if I shut off my computer, if I do either of those things, this thing's going to shut off. Okay? And if it opened a trade, it's going to stop managing it. If I turn off my trading account, it's going to stop managing it. So let's just say if you ever turn off your computer with your robots on, they're going to turn off. So a lot of people use a virtual private server. Market Traders Institute actually provides those, and they know what all these systems are, so they probably have a better idea of how much power you need. So there's a link actually in the show more section below for their support if you guys need help with that, or if you ever have any issues. That is the product support team for the tools that I'm showing you right now. So we're back to the Euro USD. Let's get to the RightTrader Max. And there's been a lot of versions. I have all of them. I'm a big fan. I'm going to click play. And there's a lot more choices on here. Okay, so visualization, this is the thing that turns on the indicators so I can see what it is. Trade direction, I said I want to do sells only because I'm biased, I'm super far sells on this thing. That's pretty much where I'm at. When it comes to politics on the Euro USD, I'm down leaning. That's what that means. All these blank levels here, you can set this stuff. Buy above price level, sell below price level. I can set those at flat, which basically does nothing, and I'm not going to use those settings, and it's just going to use the buy bar time frame for me, which is set to the hour. So I'm going to leave that as is. Okay, sell below price level, same thing. If I'm looking for sells only, that really might be what I would want to do if I want to make it more or less aggressive, but I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so max trades, I need to pay attention to that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could put 10 in there, up to you. Maybe if I like to trade standard lots all the time, maybe I put a 10 there, and maybe I pull this down to fixed, and I put a, 0.1. And I change my load on lots. Let's do a 0.05. 0.05. And my add-ons are going to be 0.1s. Okay, so this thing's going to put in 10 trades at once. Not all at the same time. Every time it finds an opportunity, it's going to get in. And I'm going to have 10 different trades going. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to exit this. Exit this also. If you want it to be a little bit more simple than what I just mentioned, then maybe you just make this a 2. And, my first trade is going to be half of what my first one is. Or maybe I put in half at a time or slightly bigger on the second entry. Whatever you guys want to do. Totally up to you. But the important part to understand is how much money you're risking. Okay, so run this in a demo account before you go live with it. And, a lot of people are going to find favorite pairs, maybe some stuff that correlates. Maybe a lot of people like to run the Euro USD and the Pound USD with the same system at the same time, same parameters, because they correlate. So totally up to you how you guys want to do these. But I just want to help you guys understand what these are. Stop loss type. Okay, it has a lot of these. That's why a lot of people like this system. It's because it's very customizable. You don't necessarily have to customize it. Okay, so ATR is what it was set to as a default. Fractals is going to be more of a hard stop loss based on highs and lows. Moving average is an indicator based. Okay, so moving average. Fixed is basically if I set a number of pips. So if you want to be able to say that, this is the Euro USD, I never want to risk more than 30 pips on a trade. Whatever. Okay. Up to you. You can do whatever you want with that. If I leave this blank, okay, or if I just change this to something else, all of the other rules are below. Okay, so ATR was what it was set. By default, I'll just delete this 30, and I'm just going to use the ATR percentage. Okay, so stop loss and percentage of ATR. That means this says 100%. So that means it's going to risk the entire average true range. So if that's 80, it's going to risk 80 pips. Okay, and I can turn on the average true range here in a second so you guys can see that. But that's really how this gets set. I could change it to maybe 75% of the average true range if I want to. Okay, so if we keep moving down here, all this stuff, hidden trailing stop loss type, whatever, all this stuff, you can do moving average, fixed, whatever. Moving average is default. I'm just going to leave it at defaults because they're neat. And this thing was built in a certain way for a reason, and I know that it was tested heavily on the 1 hour time frame. Most systems are going to be calibrated for the 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour is probably optimal from my experience in testing them, but it's going to place a lot fewer trades in those scenarios. So I think if you bias the system, in my own experience, and you trade from the 1 hour, you'll get a little bit more entries. And, if you're any good at finding direction, then you can probably get a little bit more profitable by biasing the system as well. So let's go ahead and keep moving down here. There's all this stop loss type stuff that you can set. Use entry upon deployment means, as soon as I turn it on, it'll get in the market. Sure, let's do it. Okay. Blue ribbon entry mode, because I know there's a lot of you that want instant gratification. I want decisions. I want to know what it thinks right now. Does it think up or down? It'll tell you as soon as we turn on the system. Okay. As soon as we turn on the system. So conservative, aggressive, up to you. I think conservative is good on this particular pair because it's slow. Okay, just because there's a ton of volume on the Euro USD, more than any other instrument on earth. Okay, use add-on entries waiting period. So if I want this thing to wait a full day or 6 hours or whatever before it places another trade and adds on, then I'll turn on the waiting period. If I want it to take rapid fire, tons of trades whenever it wants, then I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to let it be itself and be free. Place all the trades it wants. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, use close at price target. Very neat. Okay, so if I think that this thing's only going, I want it to open every trade it can before it gets to $1.10. I want to close all of them out once we get there. Cool. Done. Now I can run this until it gets there. Till I get there. I don't know if you Jimi Hendrix fans out there, but trade start day. Okay, time filter. You can turn this on or leave it open. If it's not on, it's going to trade every day. Whenever it finds an idea, it's going to get in. Okay, a lot of people are going to run systems on specific days of the week. Some people are only going to run, consolidative systems from Sunday to Tuesday night, and then they're going to start running trend trading systems the rest of the week because that's what they think is going to happen. And a lot of people I know do that, and for exactly those reasons, because typically we see a little bit more trend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday than we do at the beginning of the week. But there's nothing set in stone, folks. That's why I like to have robots come back behind me and check my work. So I'm looking for sells. I'm going to have this thing wait, and I'm going to have it do it all the time. I'm not going to play with any of these other things. I can run this on my entire workspace if I want to at once. That's what this is down here. But I just wanted to do the current chart because I'm already running a different system on another chart. But a lot of people, if you wanted to run, on 4 different time frames at once, this same system, all on the Euro USD, so you could find where the big moves are, small moves are, see what, if the higher time frame's in a buy position or a sell position. This is in a sell position right now because we are in this gray area and we are more or less at our blue line. So this is in a sell area. As you see it come out over this mountain here, it climbs its way up the mountain and then it falls down like an avalanche. And this is what the RightTrader Max does. It's going to be looking for sells constantly. I don't have to do anything else. Okay. And as long as I don't close my charts out, shut my computer off, this thing's going to keep running. Terminator looking for John Connor. It is going to look for nothing but sells, no eating, no sleeping. Okay. As long as you don't shut your computer off or put your computer to sleep. Like I said, VPS is important. If you guys don't know where to get it, markettraders.com/support. If you open a ticket for yourself, they can help you guys get VPS, and they'll know exactly what these systems are and how much power you need. Okay, so, and that is important, understanding how much power you need, because you are using a computer in the cloud when you do that. Let's open up another chart, Euro USD, and let's do the same thing. Let's come over to our high time frame first, just so we can suck in all the data. Make this thing full screen. I want to show the Grid Trader Pro, mostly because I think it's awesome. just like the other systems that I've already shown here, and also because it's very popular. And this is also another one of those things that if you want to add funds to your account, or if you want to fund a trading account with us, we can actually help you try this thing out for free. This thing's been getting killer results. I think up somewhere around 40% in the last 3 months. This thing has been absolutely tearing it up. I think a little over 11,000 pips in that 3 months. That's over 3,000 pips per month. Okay, from a standard lot position, that's $30,000 a month from a 1.0 position. Okay, so incredibly impressive results. I want to get long-term trend on here. Actually, I jumped a little ahead of myself, but I'll get the outer lines on our uptrend here, because I do think that the Euro USD is a long-term uptrend. At least it has been historically, and I already drew our recent downtrend break. And I'm a little skeptical of how bullish we are going to be, because I don't trust Janet Yellen or Jerome Powell, because they've never given me a reason to. But we had a break there, the market fell. Okay, we had a break further down here, right there, the market fell. Okay, and I'm thinking the same thing could happen again, and we could very easily end up at a level somewhere around where these two lines cross, all the way down here. If you guys can see that, I'll go ahead and put a horizontal line here. Okay, that's all the way down at 110.6. So 110.5 maybe, I think is, the market used to like that price a lot. We hovered around it for 3 years over here. If you guys can see this box, I mean, this is a pretty awesome trend that did exist for a few years. If you guys see that there, incredible. This I think trends better than anything else I've ever looked at. But we've already been through that. I showed you guys a lot of that already. So let's keep on moving. So I do think that we're headed downward. Okay, and I'm going to come down to my lower time frames. Okay, 110.5 is where we're going to aim. Just make sure everybody paying attention. I know a lot of people skip ahead to this type of stuff, and they may not know, why I'm doing what I'm doing. But this is the 15-minute chart. I might be a little bit more aggressive than I want for the way things look right now. But I'm going to run the hour. I think the hour is the best place for pretty much all of these. And I'm going to do the RightTrader Pro this time. Should be a little bit less cumbersome than the RightTrader Max. There's a lot of rules in that one. So those of you that made it here, congrats. We're almost to the finish line. But visualization, this is to see the tool, trade direction, sells only. You guys are going to start to get this quick. Max trades. This thing is opening a grid. Okay, so it's going to open a bunch of trades a certain distance apart from one another. Okay, so spread protector pips. Okay, you can change that. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. You can do all sorts of fun stuff, but way less to figure out on this. Okay, lot sizes and the number of trades is the most important. I'm going to put 10 there because I love this system. I don't want us to use a real stop loss and take profit. That means that I'm going to let it use the indicators to make the decision. So if the indicators change from, sell to buy, I'm out. Okay. Or I can have a real stop loss and take profit. If you don't have a virtual private server, or you turn your computer off, or you just, can't help yourself but close these out by accident, then real stop loss and take profit is probably a good thing to check. Because then it'll have exit prices as soon as you enter, and you don't have to worry about unmanaged trades. Okay, that's important. Okay, so I'm going to leave that unchecked myself. But otherwise, okay, 10 positions, it'll open up 0.01 in each. I'm going to change that for myself, 0.05. So a total of a half of a standard lot will get opened at once, maximum by this thing. Okay, so typically it's not even going to get all of those. It could. But this thing's going to get into the market, like Spider-Man with a web. Spread itself out. If the market comes up against me and I don't get stopped out, it comes back to my original price. This thing's going to take some profit. I think the win rate is somewhere around 80% so far in the last 3 months. Pretty amazing. Okay, so like I said, if you want to try this thing out, if you're already a client of ours, all you have to do is add funds to your account, and we can get a few months of it for you. We might even be able to get it for you unlimited, depending on what you add to your account. But if you want to talk to us about it, send us an email to brokers@123trade.com, or check out the website 123trade.com and go to contact us. But really, the email is the best. That comes to me. It comes to everybody. But let's go ahead and close out this window. Okay, so I don't have the indicator shown here for some reason. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, because I like to be able to know what the indicator might be thinking, so I can be ready for it. Because anticipation is nice. I want to know if this thing's ready to sell. Okay, so right now, we are making lower lows, so this thing may look to enter here somewhere shortly. I don't have to sit here and wait. It's the cool part. I might have to wait for this thing to come back up into this overbought zone, and then maybe this thing will think about selling, but I don't have to physically wait here myself, okay? And these trades happen every few days, okay? So I've got 3 different systems running here, all on the same currency cross, and, you know, one of them I believe is already entered for me. Yeah, my RightTrader Max. So these other 2 are going to have, I have several orders open here. So this is another thing you need to pay attention to, that I have 10 potential order entries on, you know, our chart on the bottom. I have, I think, 2 on the one on the top left, and I have another, you know, 3 or 4 or 5, I think, on the one in the top right. So I've only got 3 systems running on one currency pair, but this thing could place, all 3 of these could place 20 trades by tomorrow when I come look at this. That might be a little terrifying. So I would recommend pay the most attention to max positions and how many charts you're running this on. It is going to use more power on your computer if you run it on 28 currency pairs at once. You may have some issues with, you know, lag and speed. And really, sometimes if you go overboard with it too much and you freeze up your computer, it may not execute because your computer doesn't have enough power to think fast enough while that price exists. So pay attention to how many trades, how many systems you've got running, and how much power you've got. Easiest way to do that is just to talk to somebody that has done this before. Start small, okay? Don't start with 30 automations on 30 charts. Try it out on 1 or 2 or 3. See what happens. Get a feel. Get comfortable. Learning experiences, right? You know, you got to do something uncomfortable to grow. But I hope you guys learned something in this video here today. I know a lot of that stuff is, you know, well, some of it looks a little bit more complicated than it actually is, my opinion. And a lot of it is just people don't know where to even go to turn them on or what time frame. You know, there's a lot of questions people have about running trading automations. I hope I answered some of those for you in this video. If you do like this type of content, if you haven't already, why the heck haven't you already hit the thumbs up button? Come on, give a brother some love. Subscribe, ring the bell. There's going to be more time-sensitive information to come out on this channel every day. But be good or be good at it, folks. I'll see you again soon. Take care.